Hey everybody, this is PJ Riley from Lancaster Archery in our video studio today. Got a brand new product we wanted to tell you about. This is the Bowfinger One Sight V2. So Bowfinger has had their One Sight for a couple years now. This is the V2 where they came in and just like fixed a couple of the little issues with the original version of the One Sight to come out with the V2. So right up front, I will say that this is a target sight. It does not come with the scope. This is a scope I just put on there for the video, but it's going to be the sight only. You're gonna add your scope, and basically you can add any scope on the market that you want to this sight. But what are we looking at? So we are looking at a Dovetail Site. This is going to be the part that you're going to mount onto your bow. And then one of the cool features of this sight is they do have a hard stop. So wherever I put this screw, you know, I don't have to find my way as to where I'm going to clamp it down. I just slide it in till it hits, tighten it down. Just saves you from trying to find each one of these dimples individually, because what happens is invariably you miss it and then you start digging a groove outside the dimple that is put into the bar. That's a great feature there. Now moving on, we're just going to run through the features of this sight. So first off, you are going to have right here your first adjustment for second axis. You know, when you're leveling your sight, we want to make sure that this vertical bar is actually vertical. So these screws sit in slotted holes, and when you're mounting, you're just going to loosen them, and that will allow you to basically pitch the bar this way to get it perfectly vertical. Once you do that, then you're going to come around to the back here, and you're going to have these two screws, which will be for your second axis. And what the second axis is doing is dealing with your scope, and it's affecting it this way. Again, that's making it level. And then finally, we are going to have our third axis adjustment, which are going to be these two screws right here. And what the third axis does is it affects your scope this way. So that's how you're going to level all three axes. The One Sight V2, it does have your standard click adjustment, and these clicks, if you can hear that, these clicks are super precise and super fine. What I like about it is, and what I mean by precise is when you hit the click, there's a ball that goes into a detent in there. You can feel that, and it's solid. And when I get in it, there's no play. It hits solidly into that detent and it stays there. That's what I like. There's no wiggle room. So it's super crisp clicks there on your elevation. Same with your windage. But besides that, you know, besides that adjustment, we do have our gang adjustment here. So if I need to make a quick move from long distance to short, I just push in this button, and then I can slide this wherever I go, release it, and make my fine adjustments here. And of course, this is our lock. Simple turn that in. Now, you know, I get the clicks, but the scope isn't moving up and down. So that's a good feature there. As we were talking about with your windage, similarly, here's your lock, and then you're going to have your windage adjustment here. Now, some things that they did, a couple of the changes, as we mentioned, V2, this is a smaller knob, so it's not taking up so much room. It's smaller, it stays out of the way more. Another improvement that they made is right here, the dovetail that your windage block sits on. So you can see it's mounted to this block here instead of being part of the rail system. So this block does not move. It moves up and down, you know, as you're getting your elevation. But other than that, it's in a fixed position right there attached to the tower. And then you're going to have your dovetail here where you get your windage movements. And they give you more windage. That adjustment range for windage is bigger. So you're going to have more left and right adjustment, which, you know, comes into play, especially now that we have like the Matthews bows with the bridge lock technology. You want to have a ton of right adjustment for a right-handed archer, left adjustment for a left-handed. And now with this, you've got a lot of adjustment range to move that block left and right. We do have right here, we do have our quick detach for your scope. And one of the other improvements that they made here was that pin. So this, I removed it so that we could see it, but you can see that pin there. That's a long pin. And what that sits in is right here into this hole. Boom, that's how I'm gonna lock it in place. And how that works is like this. You actually would have this locked down. Once you have your left and right set, you're gonna leave that in place, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna disconnect your scope rod here. So now that I've loosened the screw, this is how I'm going to take my scope off. So if I'm traveling, you know, I can have my sight in there, I can protect my scope, and then with that pin, that's how I know I'm going to be able to get my scope always back in exactly the right spot, because I bring it in and then that pin sits in the hole. Now that is exactly how I took my scope off. So all I have to do is come back and tighten this down. Everything is now right back where I started from. Some other features here. Now this is one that I like. You know, I am forgetful. I always forget which way I have to turn these knobs. You know, the adjustments are so fine. What I find I have to do a lot of time is I have to do like 5 clicks so I can see which way the pin is moving, because I always forget which way is up, which way is down, which way is left, which way is right. So what I like is right here on the vertical tower, it tells you which way to turn for up. It's going to be clockwise for up, counterclockwise for down. Likewise, I come over here, you can see it, right and left. So they tell you right on there which way to turn. That's great for people like me, because I always forget. Now for your sight tape option, you're gonna have lots of adjustment here. So this is gonna be where you're going to put your sight tape. You know, you are gonna get a total of 15 physical tapes. They're double-sided, so you're going to get 30 sight tapes, which is awesome. You're also going to get the blank one that you can use for your setup, or if you like to use the sticker tapes, you know, use one of the programs like Archer's Advantage and make your own sight tape, put that on there. That will work as well. But this is going to be where your sight tape sits here. And now you've got adjustments right here where your first adjustment, second axis is. You can see I can move this up or down. You know, if you're shooting just simple target archery, 50 meters, and you want to have your sight bar mounted in the middle of your tower, you can do that. However, if you decide that, you know, if you're going to shoot field or maybe redding or something like that, where you're going to need more distance, of course you can move the sight bar up, which will give you more adjustment on the downrange. So that's going to be your adjustments there. You're also going to have all these adjustments for your indicator. So if, you know, no matter where your sight tape is, it's likely that there's a position that you can move this indicator to get it where you need it, so it's, you know, going to work for your sight tape. And this indicator here sits, I don't know if you can, how I can illustrate it, but it sits very flush to the sight tape. It's not touching it, but it's about as close to touching it as you can get, which is great for precision. So some of these companies, they start pulling that indicator away from your sight tape. So then, you know, depending on how you look at it, you can get different readings. You want that thing to be as close to the sight tape as you can get it. And this one sits real close and it's got a real fine end there. Now, one of the cool features about the One Sight V2 is, so this is going to be where you're going to use your marked sight tape by yardage. If you're one of the archers who likes to use the programs and where you need a sight scale versus a sight tape, you use the numbered sight scale where you get your number and then you punch in all your calibrations for your bow. It will tell you how what numbers match to your yardages. You know, 33 yards, maybe you need it on position 11. However that works for you, you know, if you use that program. You are gonna have your second sight tape. Of course, you got one here, and now you've got the sight scale on the back side here. You can, if that's how you like to do your yardage, you can do that as well. Or, quite simply, if you prefer to have your regular yardage sight tape on the back here, you can do that too. Just options for you. Another feature, another improvement that Bowfinger came up with is, you know, some folks, I tend to adjust from the top here using this big knob, but some folks I know like to adjust from the bottom. So they added a dial on the bottom here with some grip there, you know, with etchings in there so you can get some traction. So if you are someone who likes to adjust from the bottom, now you have that option. If you like to adjust from the top, you have that option as well. All right, so that is the Bowfinger One Sight V2 super sight from the folks at Bowfinger. If you've been paying attention to social media, you probably have seen Tim Gillingham and Kyle Douglas talking about this sight. They recently have picked up the Bowfinger sight for their competition, and they are loving this thing. The precision that's in it is top shelf. Just a very well made, solid target sight from the folks at Bowfinger. That's the One Sight V2. If you want to see this on our website, be sure to click the link in the description below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. And as always, if you have any questions, you can visit us at lancasterarchery.com.